Hey everybody, welcome back to Change Your Perspective, Change Your Awareness, Change Your Life. I'm Dr. Michelina, leadership consultant specializing in mindset, identity, self-awareness, and communication. And we have been talking about main character energy, right? What does it look like for you to get into main character energy? I'm specifically using a outline of story, right? So story outline, plot outline has very specific sort of formulaic steps, and we've been talking about them. And what I want you to do is come out of yourself as character and come into yourself as author, right? And so what a good author does is analyzes their character, their story, their storyline, all the things. And so if you've never gone back and analyzed the things in your life, odds are you are functioning from a sort of unintentional, unaware, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Unintentional, unaware, subconscious, unconscious space, right? So we want you to get conscious. We want you to be aware of the things. And actually, I was talking to someone today who recounted a what seemed like a very small moment in their journey that has changed the way they've shown up now, in that their work called them one time after a long shift and called them to come back. And now that person doesn't put their phone on ring anymore, right? That's the kind of stuff I want you to get aware of, because any little small thing, even as small as that, is actually taking your power away. And main character energy is I'm in my own power and control and authority. That's main character energy, right? Side character energy is everybody else gets to dictate where I go. Non-player character is you're not a player in the game, right? You're just kind of on autopilot. That's a non-player character. And so an NPC, as they tend to call it on Reddit, right? So here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna couple together the last 4 and 5 points, right? So falling action and resolution. Falling action and resolution. Take any of your scenarios that you outlined at the beginning of this series. And you should have already figured out what you want to analyze, what scene, what moment in your life you want to analyze. And then you are going to want to look at it for what you wanted to happen, the expectations that you had around said scenario, and see what actually happened. Find out what beliefs were there. Okay, I'm recounting what you should have already been doing. And then see how you changed before and after, right? That's what we just talked about. And then watch how it has played out in the rest of your life, right? So maybe before your hypothetical divorce, right? I keep using divorce as an example. Maybe before you're divorced, you believed in true love. And after your divorce, you're like, I don't ever want to be in love again, right? That's the definitive shift. How did that play out in your life? How did that play out in your life, right? Where are all the I can already tell you your relationships are going to suffer. Like I already know every relationship you've been in afterwards has probably been a result of trauma response, right? So many of us who are in side character energy and not main character energy are functioning out of what is literally trauma responses, thinking it's their personality. Okay, that happens so often. And it's like, that's not authentic to you. That is a defense mechanism. And you think that's just how you show up. But I can tell you about a time, probably, that you didn't show up like that. We all have it. We all do it, right? There are certain things that are true to us. As an example, I have always been a very serious person. I have always been an analytical person, right? I have always been kind of a more grounded person. I don't get very excitable, right? I can get excited, but I'm not like a naturally bubbly, joyous person. That's always been true of me. Like even back when I was 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, right? I'm just a serious person. I like to get stuff done. Now, it is possible, this has happened, I'll tell you a true story, because nobody liked that version of me. What I used to do is like project myself as more bubbly, more high energy, more like, look at me. Like I used to do that a lot. And it took a lot of energy out of me because I'm not naturally that. And so that was a trauma response. That wasn't my personality. That's not authentic to me to be that kind of person. I can do it, but it's a show I was putting on. Now, like I tend not to do that unless I'm actually excited about a thing, right? So whatever, and again, at this point, you know your own scenarios if you've been going through this series with me. So I don't know what your scenario is, right? I'm not working with you one-on-one here. I'm working with you in this capacity. So you have to go back and look at your scenarios and your scenes. But let us say that, okay, before whatever event, before your teacher told you you were dumb, you used to love school. Your teacher told you you're dumb. Now you hate school. I'm going to tell you right now, that happens a lot. The way that could play out in your life, like you could turn to drugs, you could drop out of school, you could have wanted to be like a marine biologist, and then you decided you don't want to do that anymore. Like, we don't realize how much our trajectories can change, our paths can change based on one very seemingly small incident that wasn't small to us. As an example, I'm making this up, guys. This is not, I'm just making this up. And this didn't happen, but it could have, right? Maybe it happened to someone else. I used to get made fun of for being flat chested all the time. I have very small boobs. And when I was younger, I was like super insecure about it. Now I'm like, I don't, whatever. But what could have happened easily if I was more impressionable, perhaps, I could have gotten a boob job because of what kids made fun of me about when I was younger. I mean, I know people now who work out daily because they were made fun of for being small as a kid. And it's like, what people made fun of you back in high school for is still shaping your reality 20 years later. That's the falling action, right? That's the resolution of the thing. Well, the resolution hopefully is a change, but that's the falling action. Our lives, we show up differently in our lives based on scenarios. So whatever 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scenarios, and again, they vary. I'm trying to pull ones that are very like surface level. But if you have deeper rejection things, deeper non-accepted things, you're going to have probably deeper wounds, honestly, things that are maybe not as easy to become aware of. Because this is what we're doing here. Change your perspective, change your awareness, change your life. Change your perspective, right? Become the main character. Get aware of the things that have gone on in your life that have shaped you. Usually not for better. Maybe for better, for worse, but usually it's for worse. The things that come to our mind the most quickly, 9 times out of 10, tend to be negative. And the brain does a lot of really interesting things. Sometimes it rewrites things, it rewires things, it reworks things. Like it can remember something differently than it actually happened. That happened to me recently where I was like trying to analyze why, what was I trying to analyze about myself? I'm always doing that. I was trying to analyze if I was hugged enough as a child or something. I don't know. And I was thinking about it and I was like, Mom, I don't know if you guys ever, like, you ever cuddled with me. And she was like, what are you talking about? We always cuddled. It was your brother that didn't. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I completely didn't remember that. Like, I completely misremembered that. Right. And thank God my mom is still around for me to be able to ask her these questions. Some people don't have that. And I'm sorry, don't, because parents, grandparents, valuable resource, valuable tools to help you get insight about yourself. Right. So like our brain does some really crazy things, but to the best of your ability, try to analyze, obviously right now you're doing it by yourself, hopefully, how you have shown up differently as a result of scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, scenario 4, scenario 5, right? And then here's resolution, and I'm coupling these together. Decide if you like it or not. If you don't like it, if you're like, wait a minute, I've literally always done this and I don't care for that. I don't like that I do that. Change it. Change it. Right? Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'll give you an example, right? Before pre-Michelina, pre-felony Michelina, post-felony Michelina, I used to always be late to things. Pre-felony Michelina was late to everything. like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I just didn't time manage well because I was overbooked on things. Somehow, some way, I decided I didn't like that. I don't do it anymore. Now I'm always on time. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be somewhere at that time, barring some kind of emergency. And this was a part of say what you mean and mean what you say. I got very serious about being honest. I got very serious about like saying what I mean and meaning what I say. So if I say yes, it's because I actually want to be there. If I say no, it's because I'm not interested. And I never used to do that. Like as a chronic people pleaser, I never did that. I would say yes if I wanted to say no. Got me in a lot of trouble. And then I was like, I'm never doing that again. No, thank you. So the falling action was like, I saw where I used to do that all the time. And the resolution was I'm not doing that anymore. So now I don't. Now I show up on time. And it's easier for me to hold other people to that standard or that accountability place because I'm like, hey, if I'm here on time, you can get here on time too. Because I used to not be able to do it. So I understand what it's like to be chronically late to things. You can plan better. I know you can because I've done it, right? That's a teaching thing. Anyway, so this is a series for the reason of you need to do all of these things kind of formulaically and in tandem. This is how we analyze our lives. This is how we get into main character energy. This is how we get our power back, because what we unwittingly do is let everybody else dictate how we show up. And that's not main character energy. Main character energy is I'm showing up here as I am. It's my story. I'm showing up here as I want to. My story. You're just in it. And I love you in it, but and we do let other people dictate how we show up, right? It's like, honey, do I look good in this? No, I don't really like it. You'll change. You just gave that person your power. Grant Cardone has a book called Sell or Be Sold. It's about sales. He's like a top salesman in the world, honestly. But what it is this, okay? Every interaction with a person is a chance for you to stay in your power or for you to give your power away. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. You are selling or being sold all the time, every interaction, 9 times out of 10 interaction. Some interactions are just for conversation, but if that's not the conversation, 9 times out of 10, people are trying to persuade you to their line of thinking, or you are going to defend your own line of thinking and just be like, okay with it, right? We don't safeguard our brains enough, okay? So every interaction, 9 times out of 10, is somebody trying to sway you to their point of view. Like, oh, well, can you take the baby to the doctors, right? Yes, no. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Maybe that's not a fair example because as babies, it doesn't matter what you want, you have to do it. So that's a bad example. That's a bad example. You had a baby, you're responsible, take care of it. Okay, bad example. Let me give you a better example, right? Do you want to go out to eat tonight? You're thinking, I don't really have the money for this. I don't really want to drive. I don't really want to have the conversation. I don't really want to meet you. I don't really want to do the energy. What do you say? Yeah, sure. You want to go out to dinner, so I'll go out to dinner. No problem. No, you were just sold in that moment. They wanted to go out to dinner. You didn't want to. They swayed you. Not even hard for them. Right? We don't know ourselves well enough to know if we want a thing or if we don't. Anyway, I'm getting out of my, the point of this was I got to a place where I was like, I'm going to say yes if I want to say yes. I'm going to say no if I want to say no, because part of one of my scenarios is I show up differently now than I did then, And the falling action was me realizing like, oh, I had to self-analyze myself. Okay? I was analyzing myself for things. And I was like, I don't like this about myself. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. So I changed them. Resolution changed the things I didn't like because I made honesty a value of mine. I don't think I posted this anywhere yet, but I was talking about, I'm always making content. I don't always post it, but I was talking about how like you really have to have values that you sit on. Like those have to be the things. If you want to be main character energy, I'll talk about this more, but if you want to be a main character energy, you have to be internally motivated. Internal motivation comes directly from internal values and an internal value system. So for me, what I did was I started really valuing honesty. That's not to say like word vomit. There is a strategic way to disseminate information. So it's not word vomit, but it is honesty and transparency. Like I value transparent communication. I'm going to tell you what I think, which people don't like to do. The other day, I said something to someone who was kind of mean. And they were like, that was mean. And I was like, I'm not sorry. I meant it. And they were like, what'd they say? They were like, is that hard for you or something? Like, is that hard for you to, I don't know. They said something about like, is this hard for you? Not to like be meaner or something. And I was like, yes, actually it is. Like right now I'm really upset and it is hard for me not to be meaner to you in this moment. Actually, yes. And they were like, what? And I was like, not gonna lie to you, I'll tell you the truth. It is hard. You asked. I'm trying to be nice, not doing a great job of it, honestly. Right. And so all this to say, people get shocked when you're honest with them. But I'm like, hey, don't ask a question you don't want the answer to. Right. And I live by that principle too. Like, I don't ask questions I don't want the answer to. If I'm asking you the question, I want the answer, the truthful answer, no matter how bad it is. People in my sphere of influence know that to be true about me. But these are all part of resolutions that I have had from scenes that I have analyzed, from ways I used to show up that I don't like to show up in anymore. Okay. I've got falling action is the analysis of where that's played out in my life. And the resolution is I don't like that. I'm going to shift it. Here's what I'm going to shift it to. Everybody can change and grow. Everybody can go from the side character to the main character. Everybody can go from, hey, my life's been kind of determined for me in ways I didn't realize, to I'm going to determine the outcome of my life in ways I want to determine the outcome of my life. I'm going to live a life I'm happy to live. That's main character energy, right? So all that to say, I hope that this series up to this point has been helpful. That's all very practical. I'm going to go into some theoretical kind of like larger scale concepts in the next couple of little bits, but values being one of them. Like, how do you come into main character energy? A value system, always that. But I hope this is helpful. I hope you're doing the self-analysis work. Super important. This is how you get into main character energy. There's only one you, like the only person you have in your life actually that cannot be removed from it is you. So the most important work you can do is self-analysis and self-understanding and gaining self-awareness. Like, it doesn't matter how well you understand your spouse or your mom or even your kid, because guess what? They can go at any time and they will. They will, And no one wants to hear that, but like, you're the only person that can't be taken away from you. So investing in yourself in that way is productive. We don't like to do it. It's hard, but it's important. Put you in main character energy, right? So, okay, I hope this is helpful. I hope you like this series. I'm enjoying bringing it to you. I hope it's very practical for you guys. I'm trying to make it very practical. If you're interested in coaching, obviously comment, find me on social media and message me. If you like what you're seeing, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends to grow the channel. And I will see you for more change your perspective, change your awareness, change your life on the next video.